Well, good evening, everybody. Alan Slaughterzinski for the Brevard Sports Network here with you for a couple of minutes tonight as we get set coming up this Sunday at Tom McIntyre Stadium on the campus of Melbourne High School, the Road to Dallas Global Sports Athletics Brevard County Regional Football Combine. And listen, I'm here to tell you this is going to be a great event. You look at Zybek Sports is going to be there. They are the official timekeepers for the NFL Combine. But here in studio for the first time to talk about it is the head coach for the Melbourne Bulldogs. And before I bring Coach David Kintigh on, it's here. Coach Kintigh has delivered the Melbourne Bulldog football helmet. It's a pretty green, and it looks really good on this desk, Coach. Welcome to the Brevard Sports Network studios. Coach, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you for having me here.
Absolutely. So we talked a lot about the football team last week, but this is a little bit more centered about what's going on Sunday morning at Melbourne High School, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Let's chit-chat about this because this is a big event. It's the first one, but it's something you want to see continue.
I'd like to see it continue. I mean, I've moved back to Brevard County after being out of the area for a long time, and what I noticed is we have so much talent and so many people that are on board with things, but we don't have a lot of push. We have things in Orlando that have this for that. They have combines and they have camps and all this stuff way out there. We really don't have anything here in Brevard County that keeps our talent right here to show everybody what's going on.
Right.
When Global Sports came to me and asked me about it, I was hesitant at first because do I really want to get involved in something like that? And then they started to explain how they wanted to do it. And all I kept thinking was, okay, if we start something now with the plan of going for 3, 5, 7 years and doing it every single year, and we get all the kids involved down to the 8th grade, which I had to ask him for that, and I did. I was told in some areas they'll go to as far low as 7th, but he wouldn't do it in Brevard County. But now what you've got is kids that are just before going into high school are now have the ability to start getting their records, their times, their 40s, their jumps, their everything there, and learn from college coaches and get some skills done. So it's not just the testing, it's testing and skills that are done and run by college coaches.
Now, we're gonna be there, too, broadcasting it. So for those of you worried that if a college coach doesn't make it, they'll be able to watch as well, and they're all very aware of that fact. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, that's good. And actually, I was talking to a couple of D1 coaches, and they, of course, are on a dead period. They can't do anything with recruits or anything like that. But they all said, and I said, BSN's going to stream it. And they said, well, we'll definitely log on to that and watch the streaming with the kids that are going to be there. And so they're going to watch it, at least streaming, and see what's up because they can't have any contact. And I thought that was phenomenal.
Yeah,
so
it's good.
It's that whole push. We've been talking about it for, I guess, a couple years now.
And Global Sports, this series that they run, I mean, on your screen, you're kind of seeing it there. Listen, it's a Gauntlet Skills Camp series, and it's going to all culminate. There's actually going to be invites from this camp to the Dallas camp.
Correct.
For the top performers. You can log on. Again, the information is there on the screen. Some of the football testing stations will be the Zybek Laser 40, the broad 40-yard dash, the broad jump, vertical jump, shuttle, the L drill, offensive one-on-ones, defensive one-on-ones, 5-on-5s. It's everything that you could want from a football combine.
Yes, exactly. And that's one of the reasons why I looked at it. When we did it, we were doing our maxes this week at the end of the summer. We're doing all that. All my kids that actually are in the combine, I didn't make them do any of the runs because they're actually going to get it in the combine. I said, We'll use your combine numbers for your maxes that are going to go on their sheets at our school.
Unbelievable. And, again, in Dallas, that'll come up. They'll name the participants later this summer, and then you'll be notified if you're one of those ones that will go to Dallas. And, Coach, I think it's interesting, and I want to go back to something that you said because of the talent here in Brevard County. Now, while it's a little hard to keep up with where a lot of that talent is these days sometimes, the point is it's here, and it's, I kind of feel like that the transfer portal, Coach, has really hurt counties like Brevard. And I don't want to say that college football coaches have gotten lazy, but let me just stop here real quick. Take a listen to this clip from this college football coach who said that the transfer portal isn't killing high school recruiting, but it is hurting it.
The problem right now is instead of us going into high schools all the time like we should be, half the time we're on our own campus having an official visit with a portal guy. And it's going to hurt high school recruiting. It's not going to kill it, but it's going to the lower level, and let's say the MAC schools, things of that nature, where I was involved at Western Michigan and Northern Illinois. I think it's going to hurt the kids that are going to those. I don't know if it's going to hurt the kids going to Arkansas and Ole Miss and Kansas and wherever, but I think it's going to hurt high school kids with the possibility of going playing in the MAC and playing in wherever it may be, and something's got to be done there.
All right, so basically right there, Coach, what you're hearing is somebody saying, no, the transfer portal will never kill high school recruiting, but it has hurt it. The first thing that coaches used to do, college coaches used to do, was they would go in and they would look at the list of recruits for the day. You know, one of the first things they did in the morning.
Absolutely.
Now the first thing that they do, and it's exactly what he said, is that they go in and they look at the transfer portal.
Yep.
They don't look at the high school recruits. They look at the transfer portal.
Yeah, and that's college coaches have sat in my office and told me right to my face that they reduced the amount of high school kids they were bringing in. Others have looked at me and said that, you know, we're still doing the same way. We're going high school first. We won't take a portal guy unless he's actually an impact player that'll help us right this moment. On top of that, where I think it's really hurt the high school athlete, the signings in December have gone down because more in February or even after February, because the colleges are waiting to see what they can see in the portal. Then they're offering late.
Right.
Is a kid still available?
Yeah.
Has he already, or is the top kid already committed somewhere? And that's where it really hurts, because you do have kids now that, well, I didn't get that, and they almost give up on the process. Because high school kids, we know the numbers. We know how they break down. What kills me is when you look at the statistics of the portal. I don't know exactly what they were this year, but I think last year only 46% of the portal college kids were picked up.
Yep.
What people don't say is that means 54% went home.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So you're now looking at, and this is where I don't think people understand, is no, we're not looking at the negatives. What we want to do is get the kids' numbers out there and do the best we can so that they can fill that void. But when it comes to the portal issue, does it help or hurt college football? Remains to be seen. I'm not going to give an opinion, because there are schools that are going to get those top guys in there and they're going to perform better and it's going to make their team better. But on the other side of that, it's now trickled down to high school. Look at what happened in Brevard County, transferring to different schools. And it wasn't just me. It happened to a lot of schools. And when you have that, this is where high school kids need to understand. The pandemic threw a wrench into things.
It sure did.
But I did have some college coaches look at me, and because of the issues I had with transfers this year, they asked me outright why. I told them what I knew. And then I asked the question, which nobody likes to ask, is does that really affect your recruiting of these kids? And all but one of the coaches I talked to said yes, because if they'll leave here, they'll leave me if they're not happy.
That's correct. You mentioned the number on the transfer portal. Right now, at this minute, according to On3, which I love, there are 2,720 college football athletes entered into the portal. 1,504 of them are committed or enrolled. That's 55%. 54% of these kids are going to have to withdraw for this upcoming year.
And I'm sitting here looking at it going, as a guy that went on a scholarship to college and did everything and got my education and a bachelor's degree to walk out of school, yeah, I wanted to play in the NFL, but school, my parents made it very clear that school and a career afterwards was so important. And then I got that degree. I signed with the Bucs, never played. I got cut. But the reality is I had my degree and could fall back into business.
You know, you're getting kids that are going from schools like Florida to Virginia Tech, West Virginia to LSU, I get it. All these kids want an opportunity. When you look at this portal, they think that they can play in the National Football League, and maybe they can, Coach. I don't know. But the bottom line is exactly what you just said. Don't lose sight of the fact that the most important thing about a scholarship is the education you're going to get, which circles me back to what's happening on Sunday. You know what? You, as an 8th grader, have an opportunity, a 9th grader, a 10th grader, because I'm telling you, they're recruiting if they're recruiting at all, they're recruiting early. Yep. They're not looking at seniors. They're not looking at juniors right now. They're looking at those freshmen and those sophomores. We know kids in this county that are getting D1, P5 offers as sophomores. There's a reason for that.
Yep, absolutely.
So get out there Sunday and get yourself on. And look, if you are a junior and a senior, don't be discouraged. Opportunities like this persist. Work it, right?
Absolutely. Any opportunity you have. For example, one of my players went to multiple camps this summer, had to travel all over the place. Here we're having a combine run by college coaches in Brevard County. You don't have to go very far, and it's getting recorded numbers that can carry on with you and show your improvement over the years.
I promise you, and you know what? The cost is amazing. A lot of these combines are very expensive to attend, especially combines that offer everything that they're offering. So make sure the information has been at the bottom of that screen the entire time. Again, the Zybek laser 40, the broad jump, the vertical jump. You're seeing it on your screen. The shuttle, the L drill, offensive one-on-ones, defensive one-on-ones, 5-on-5s. It's incredible what's going on Sunday at Tom McIntyre Stadium. And again, make sure you log on because you only have until tomorrow to register for this great event.
He did tell me earlier today he's going to keep the registration open just a little bit longer.
There you go.
So, I mean, he'll keep it open until maybe Friday night or Saturday.
Okay.
To get there. So get on there as soon as you can. He opened that up. Chad's a wonderful guy that organized the whole thing. And he did say it would be a little bit longer, that he would keep it open till people can get in there. And we do take walk-ups. They will take the walk-ups at the door. It's a little bit more expensive if you walk up.
Yeah.
But you can come up and get right into it. The other thing that I would ask is anyone that's watching this or has this, with social media and the things that we have, share it.
Yeah.
Get it out there because I'm still running into players that are young guys from youth groups and everything else. This is good. Anyone that's going to graduate from high school in 28, 27, 26, 25, or 24, 8th grade to senior, can register and participate in this. And if you see this and you know someone in the area, send it out to them. Have the link that he has on there. Go on there and register. And it is to start getting things going on. I'm always focusing on the young guys because this is something that's brand new, and I want to see it grow.
No doubt. Coach, before we wrap up here, we just finished up with the coaches shows. We had you on last week at Walk-Ons. Thanks for coming in.
Yes, sir.
As camp is now, what's today? Wednesday? Camp
we start Monday.
6 days.
We start Monday.
How excited are you?
Actually, I'm very. We had my coordinators and I were in there this morning, assigning the lockers, putting their names on them, getting the young guys all set up. There was a lot of excitement, hanging out, which I love to see when the kids, after workouts are done, Max's things are done, just to see them hanging out and getting together. That's the team thing that I really love they're coming together with.
What I wanted to ask you last week, and I don't think I did, is I wanted to ask you, how do you change your mindset? Last year you had a team coming in with 20-plus seniors on it, a veteran squad. Now you got a young team that's coming in, very talented young team, but freshmen, sophomores, things of that nature. Do you kind of get, and I know you love those kids that graduated last year, but do you kind of feel that youth and energy and excitement, as the team's a little bit younger coming in? Do you change the way you have to coach? How does that work?
The unity with the team and everything and the excitement between the kids really hasn't changed. The kids have changed.
Right.
But our focus at Mel, I've got such a great staff, and basically our focus is teaching the game.
Right.
It's basically, do you know your position? Do you know how to execute? And do you know how to take care of your brother and get his back?
Right.
So basically we are pushing, doing it the right job. He does it right. He does it right. You work together, and it's going to happen. And we've stayed on that focus. So what happens with this, watching the kids start to hang out and then starting to hear them talk, the lingo of the coaches. Well, you were supposed to do this. You were supposed to do that. And we go this, and they start working together. That's the excitement that I see. That means the teaching that we're doing really pays off. I didn't even think about it. Somebody said to me the other day, well, of course, schools around are recruiting my kids because my staff teaches them so well, they need them.
That's a good point.
So they actually know how to play the game.
That's a good point. That's a good point. I like that. Coach, I want to ask you this, too, before we go. You know, back in, you know, we're around the same age. So back in your day, through the recruiting process, you went from satellite to Miami and a great athlete. And what's the aside from the technology, what's the biggest change you've seen in student athletes over the years?
Wow. I started coaching really high school full-time in 2003. Watching the difference in the athletes, there is a mentality, but it trickles down from the NFL. Mm-hmm. And what happens when it trickles down is because of the way the game has changed, the way how hard they'll play or what they'll sit out for.
Right.
What they're I burnt my nail, I can't go in.
Gotcha.
Versus pull my nail off, I got to go back in.
Got to go. Ronnie Lott cut my
It
finger
sounds
off.
that's an extreme version, but that's where you watch the difference on that. The actual athletes, I don't see a difference in. It's the way they approach the game.
Gotcha.
I think our biggest change in football has come since the concussion issue.
Correct.
Okay.
I like that, yeah.
Younger kids, there's less kids that played the game since the concussion issue because parents didn't want them in the youth leagues or playing because of that. We watch the videos, we have the training, we do everything the right thing. But the kids themselves, as they come up, you still have that kid in your face that really wants to be and learn and do everything. And you still have the kid that, oh, I stubbed my big toe, I need to sit out for 2 days.
Right.
We've always had that. It's the way us coaches have to deal with it is a little bit different now. You have to grow with the times. I mean, and I'm going to throw a college coach out there that is as successful as he is because he's shown over the years that he can change with the times, and that's Nick Saban.
Absolutely. I want to ask you one more thing real quick because I'm interested to get your take on this. You know, we saw yesterday Justin Herbert sign a $256 million contract. And the big issue that's being talked about today, and I know you know a lot of college coaches, high school coaches, you know a bunch of guys that played in the National Football League and have played the running back position with what's going on in the league. Do you think with what's going, and even though such a minute percentage of student athletes actually make it to the league, do you think do you think it will have an effect on kids wanting to play that position moving forward?
It's possible and it's probable. And one of the things that we face all the time as coaches is a kid that says, I play this position because I'm of the philosophy of, oh, really? I think you'd be better over there.
Right.
Now, if you're not willing to make that try, why am I going to spend all my time when you got 2 guys ahead of you at that position?
Right.
So I want the athletes on the field, and I make it very clear to every player I talk to, you know what, you're an athlete, but you got a guy ahead of you. Can you play another position where we might be able to get you on the field? And not just on special teams, but can you help us offensively or defensively in a spot? Yeah, you're still going to be in that position, but that guy's better than you. How can you help the rest of the team? If you can't help the team, and this is where we have to really focus on this and go down, getting every kid to understand football is the ultimate team sport.
Yep.
And being able to play only one position, I think, all the way up to the NFL. How many times was Green Bay Packers a few years ago took a wide out and put him at tailback, if I'm not mistaken?
Yep.
So when you are able to go and play on multiple positions, you can help your team better if you're the best athlete at that position.
You got to think about Chauncey Gardner and Jamel Dean, great high school running backs, but they're defensive backs in the National Football League. Learn to play another position.
Honestly, I'm a Miami guy, and if I'm not mistaken, Ethnic Sands was a quarterback in high school who ended up playing receiver.
Yep. And you look at, I think, at a guy like a Deebo Samuel for San Francisco, who to me is a guy that says, you know what, I'll play anywhere you want me to play.
Exactly.
You know, I'll play.
Yep.
Yeah, Taysom Hill, exactly. Quarterback, wide receiver. He'll play the H-back. I mean, that's what's going to get you to the league is playing. And you know what? Yeah, youth football, you're going to have to play running back because they don't throw the ball. But once you get to high school, guys, you need to start thinking. And again, I just circle back to Sunday because these skills, these things you learn, the earlier you get started doing things like this, the better off you're going to be. And it's important at these events as well to get out there and talk to players from around the county, other schools. Hey, are you playing another position? You'll see the great ones, not only do they play other positions, but they play other sports as well. Final thoughts, Coach?
Hey, my final thoughts is what I was going to open up with, but we got rolling too quick. And that was, thank you so much for what you do for Brevard County.
Thank you,
with
Coach.
the sports and the announcements, and I think I say this to you in private a lot, but I don't necessarily know if it's going to be broadcast, and I want to make sure you know there's a lot of people out there that really appreciate you putting their kids out there, doing the representation of the athletes in the area, all the sports and youth sports that you broadcast and everything like that. We really do appreciate it.
Well, I appreciate you, Coach. Thank you to Melbourne, Principal Kirk and, Chad Raymond. I love coming to Melbourne. It's a great environment. The history, the first state champs in Brevard County.
By the way,
I'm
trying to find a picture of the original state championship trophy.
If
anybody out there has a picture, knows somebody, a grandparent, or got it, because I don't know where that state championship trophy is. If I have to get a replica made, I'm trying to find the original state championship trophy.
All right. You know what? I might put a post up about that. But, yeah, we will for sure see you guys, all of you out there watching this on Sunday. And, again, registration has been extended. That's the best news of the day. I mean, let's face it. Yes, it does cost to get into this camp, but it's well worth it. Register early. If you have to be a walk-up, that's fine. Certainly understandable. Just get there. Just come. Please come. And, Coach, thank you so much for this. This is going to look good. That green looks good. So I want to thank Caleb Brown because he sets all of this up, the lighting, the cameras, all of it. For those of you that have been here, you know how we work this space. So for head coach David Kintigh, I'm Alan Slaughter-Zinski for the Brevard Sports Network. Go Bulldogs.